this video is going to be a different video from what I normally do. So I've just finished reading this book, which is the I Am Malala book, and I'm sure you must have all heard about who Malala is. She was the girl that got shot by the Taliban and was flown over to the UK and went to a Birmingham hospital and was given treatment and everything. So I really wanted to read a book for a long time, and I found it, and so I brought it, and I've just finished reading it. It's called I Am Malala, the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. And I just wanted to do a video on this because it's such like an inspirational book. I just think what some people have to live through and how some people have to live and the way their countries run and things like that, and they still manage to come out and do something really amazing. So I'll give you like a really quick rundown of the book. So she's the eldest in her family. She's obviously a girl. She's got two younger brothers. So when she was born, the family was like commiserated because they'd had a girl. So boys are always celebrated and girls aren't. I think there was something like, if a boy is born, then like gunshots are fired and things like that to like celebrate that there's a boy that's been born. So obviously she was a girl, so as I say, the family was commiserated for that. But all throughout the book, her dad has been like a firm believer that it doesn't matter that she's a girl, so what, it's still his child, still the mum's child, still part of the family. As far as he's concerned, it's as good as anything. So that is obviously a really good start. So her father believed that everybody should have an education. So he started setting up schools and things like that so that every child should have an education, which is obviously another really amazing thing. So, but in their country, it's only boys that generally go to school, and girls do go to school, but she said not for like the full school years, like they don't finish school, that's what I mean. So they would go, I think she said they would go to like they're 10 or 11, and then they're like pulled out of school and they have to stay at home and do like the cooking, the cleaning, everything, etc. So, but she obviously didn't want to do that. She wanted to stay at school, and that's what the father believed that girls should do, which is, why not? Why not? So I say he set up lots of schools. I know there was, I think there was 2 near his house, or their house even, and then I'm sure there was a couple of others set up as well. So obviously she believed the same thing, and she campaigned as well to get children to go to school, especially girls, because she thought, why should they not go to school? She really enjoyed learning and believed that why should they not go to school, which again is fair enough. So she was obviously quite, which I didn't know this, obviously I did read about her when it all came out that she was shot in the papers and on the news and everything, but I didn't know like much about her or her family, which is why I obviously wanted to read the book. But they were quite well known in Pakistan, her and her dad. Obviously it started off with her dad, that he did like public speaking things and he was on the telly and things like that. So as she got older, she started to do that as well. And there was a thing she had to, it was like a diary of living under the Taliban, but she had to do that in a different name so that people obviously wouldn't know it was her. I think she spoke to the president, she spoke to the president of Pakistan, and all these like big leaders, like these big influential people in the country. She spoke to a lot of them. She was awarded money that she put into the schools, etc. And as the Taliban started to come into Pakistan and start taking over, they started bombing the schools and saying that obviously girls shouldn't go to school, etc. And then they tried to segregate the schools so that boys and girls shouldn't go to the same school. So they started bombing all the girls' schools so that they couldn't go to school, etc, etc. So then one day when she was coming home from school, they were in a school bus and it was stopped. Someone came round the back, asked who Malala was, and I think nobody answered who she was, but I think obviously a couple of girls looked at her, and I think they obviously knew who she was anyway, and shot her, and 2 of the other girls were shot. There was 2 girls sitting next to her, I think. I think one of the bullets that went through Malala shot the other, like went through the other girl, and another girl was shot in the hand, I think it was. So obviously Malala was shot in the head, and she was then taken to the hospital out there. They looked after her, but obviously they didn't have like all the equipment and things that we have. Some doctors from England were flown out there, etc, 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 and then it was kind of agreed that she should fly over here, and she flew to the Birmingham hospital and was given surgery and physio, etc, and now she lives here and goes to school here, and her family live here. So that was kind of like the really quick rundown of the book. Obviously there's a lot more in depth, and there's pictures in the book, etc, but obviously read the book. It's very, very good. But I just can't believe that like people live like that. I've obviously always lived in England, and I think we are so lucky. People moan about the country, moan about this, moan about that, but when you actually see things on the news and pictures of things and read about things, that how some people have to live, I just kind of makes you realise like how lucky we are over here, things that we have and the freedom that we have to do the things we want to do. And why shouldn't everybody have an education? Why should not girls have education and boys should, etc? Why not? What is the difference between a girl going to school and a boy going to school? Obviously I know they have different views on things, which is obviously, that's up to them, but as I say, why should everybody not have an education? If they want to go to school, let them go to school. If they don't, they don't. That's fair enough. But if they want to go to school, why should they be stopped from going? And I think it's crazy that people actually have to live like that, have to live with like bombings going on around them, shootings, murders and everything. And yeah, I think it's crazy. So I really just wanted to do a video on just to say like how inspirational she is, and how she continues to stand up for the right that everybody should have an education. She's set up a Malala fund so that everybody, to try and fund for everyone to be able to have an education. She also won the Children's Nobel Peace Prize for fighting for education. She continues to fight for education. She's got a charity that she's set up, which is called the Malala Fund, which everything that's raised for the fund goes to educating children around the world. And yeah, I just think she's such an inspirational person, and if you want to read a book that will make you just smile and be like, good on you, well done you, then I would definitely pick up this book. I just think we are so, as I said previously, that we are so lucky to live in a country where we can have freedom and do what we want, etc. And it baffles me that people have to fight for like the basic things like education and stuff. And I just think, I know that obviously school and education is not for everybody, I get that, but I just think in this country we have free education, we get to go to school, and there's people over here that don't use that. They don't use that to benefit them, to get an education and to do things with their life. Like, it just makes me a little bit angry, really, that you have someone like this who really wants to go to school, and other girls in their country really want to go to school, but they can't. It's denied them. They're not allowed to go to school. And then there's people over here, obviously it might be in other countries as well, I don't know about any other countries, but you have children over here who just don't make use of what they have over here. They get a free education and just they get to live their life, and I'm like, just make use of that. Go to school, get an education, like do something. Don't waste the opportunity to have that. And I'm just so glad that she's been able to come over here and been able to go to a school over here and been able to get the education that she really wants. And I just think she's such an inspiration. I would highly recommend this book if you enjoy things like sort of autobiographies and things like that. I would highly recommend reading this. I'm not sure if it's when she got the Nobel Peace Prize or when she was speaking at a different conference that she had this just a really amazing quote, which I'm like, kind of sums everything up. She said, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world." And I just think that sums everything up about this book. And as I say, I would highly recommend it. So thank you for watching. Comment and let me know if you've read this book and what you thought of it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!